video, you'll see how to write equations in slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept form, the way it looks is this: y equals mx plus b. M, the number we always multiply by x, that represents the slope of the line, and b, the constant on the side with the variable x, is the y-intercept. So let's take a look at a few examples. In the equation y equals 5x minus 2, the slope would be 5. And because I'm subtracting 2, the y-intercept would be negative 2. In the second example, negative 2/3 x plus 4, my slope would be that coefficient of x, negative 2/3. So I'd have a line that goes down and to the right. And the y-intercept would be at positive 4 because it says plus 4. How about this third one? The slope is negative 5 over 4, and the y-intercept is positive 3. And the last one? Well, I don't see a number in front of that x, but there's always the understood 1 there. And the y-intercept would be negative 8. So now that you can find the slope and the y-intercept, let's talk about how we can graph these equations. So what you're first going to do is just look at your equation, find that slope, find the y-intercept. Then you're going to plot the y-intercept on your graph. You can use your slope to find 2 other points on the graph and then make your line, because that line represents all the possible solutions to that equation. So in my equation y equals 1/2 x minus 2, my slope is 1/2. My y-intercept is negative 2. I'm going to start by plotting my y-intercept here at negative 2. So 0, negative 2 is my y-intercept. Now I want to use my slope. My slope is 1/2. I have to go up 1 and right 2. And I have to go up 1 and right 2 again. Of course, I could have gone down 1 and left 2. These would all be on the same line. So my line would go something like this. The line going all the way through my coordinate plane, and I'd like you to label at least 3 points that are on that line. All of the points on that green line, though, represent possible solutions to this equation. So for instance, this point here, negative 10, negative 7. What happens when I put in negative 7 for my y in that equation and negative 10 for my x in the equation? Well, 1/2 times negative 10 is negative 5, minus 2, that's negative 7. That shows that that's a possible solution for that equation, y equals 1/2 x minus 2. If you don't have a coordinate plane handy, that's okay. Just draw yourself x and y axis, and then do the same thing. Just sketch where you think the y-intercept should be. So I think it should be somewhere here below the origin. Here's 0, negative 2. And then just use that slope and, sketch your at least 2 other points. So go up 1 and right 2. I end up at 2, negative 1. I could go down 1 and left 2. I end up at negative 2, negative 3. And then connect your line through the point. All right, let's look at one more. I've got y equals negative 3x plus 7. Again, I want to find that slope and y-intercept first. My slope is negative 3. The y-intercept is 7. I'm going to plot my point at the y-intercept, 0, 7. And then I am going to use that slope to find at least 2 more points. So from 0, 7, I can go up 3 and then to the right 1 because it's a positive slope. It's going up and right. So I get 110 as a point. I could go down 3 and left 1. Negative 1, 4 would be my other point. And I can connect those points and make my line. If you don't have a coordinate plane, just sketch your axes and then plot where that y-intercept is. Let's say the y-intercept is here on the y-axis at 0, 7. And then just use your slope to find your next 2 points. So I can go up 3, right 1, end up at 1, 10. Or from 0, 7, I can go down 3, left 1. I'm going to end up at negative 1, 4. And once more, connect those points because this line represents the infinite solutions to that equation. And that's how we use slope-intercept form to graph lines.